Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
We have been given a gift by God today to usher in a new dynasty.
Now you get RFK Jr.
Don't you want a president who's going to make America healthy again?
You get Tulsi Gabbard.
Putting our country in a continual state of war.
You get Elon Musk and you get J.D. Vance.
A hell of a way to start the next 4 years.
The right-wing Avengers.
We have an army of digital soldiers.
Department of Defense under Donald Trump will achieve peace through strength.
Shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one.
A rescission of 78 Biden-era executive actions, executive orders, presidential memoranda, and others.
The golden age of America has most definitely begun.
Begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay.
They're getting the dirtbags off these streets.
There's one guy who can fix this shit, and it's Donald Trump.
What's storm, Mr. President?
Go find out.
This is like Iraq War number 2. Iraq War number 2. I like to look at those oil supplies. I'd be ashamed if someone invaded you. And if someone invaded you. And I ran so far away. Bomb I bomb them night and day. But destroy USA. A drone appears above your head. A Moab bomb comes falling down on you. Falling down on you. The fleet is moving nearer still. The Strait of Hormuz, it comes in view. The oil must flow through. And I ran so far away. The bomb I bomb them night and day, but destroy USA. A tiny hit hits a big red button. Atomic bombs come falling down on you. Mushroom clouds in view. Send out a tweet to let you know. World War III, 'cause Israel told me to. All for Netanyahu. And I ran so far away. Bomb bomb them night and day. And I ran so far away. Bomb bomb them night and day. But destroy USA.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Josh, and welcome to the Red Pill Project's Daily Dose, live with you Monday through Friday. I hope everybody is doing well out there and had a fantastic weekend. I don't give a shit about the lyrics. They're funny. Listen, if we can't laugh at ourselves, then who are we gonna laugh at? But when we start to talk about war propaganda and like you get Iran out there that's making these videos of like Iranian ballistic missiles will reach New York City, boom. And then this is what we send them in reply. That's classic. Come on. That would be so funny because it pulls all of the war aspect out of it. But, because Israel told me so for Netanyahu, whoever made that video, I don't think they truly understand what's happening geopolitically. I don't think they have any clue whatsoever what's going on in the world. And I caught a podcast. I don't listen to very many podcasts. I don't really listen to anybody in the Patriot community. No offense to anybody out there. You send me podcasts. I have like maybe a select few podcasts that I listen to and very few people as guests that I'll go out and listen to. But there's this podcast out there, and it's one of my favorites. There's two of them that are kind of like in the AI tech world that I really follow, and that's Diary of an AI CEO and then the Moonshots podcast with Peter Diamandis. And yeah, I get they're globalists. Yeah, but you need to listen to what they're saying and where the world is going as per the money that they're flowing into it, right? But Diary of the AI CEO, he had a guest on this last week, Konstantin Kisin. And if you've never heard of Konstantin Kisin, you need to go look him up. He's British, and Konstantin quite literally breaks down what's happening in the world. Now, I listened to this with an open mind. I'm like, okay, another person coming in to describe what's happening in Israel, what's happening in the world. And guess freaking what? Everything that Konstantin says in this 2-hour podcast, hour and a half podcast is exactly what we've been telling you the last 2 years. Everything. China, Russia, the United States. Russia is a small player. It's between China and the United States. A multipolar world is forming. The rules-based international order is collapsing. Europe is on the death spiral. Everything he's saying there is exactly what we've talked about. So I love the fact that we get validation in the majority of the world when we start to look at real experts that are talking about this thing, and they're saying the same damn thing that we've been saying for years. And here's the thing is we were first to say all this. Me, Alpha, we've been saying this for a very, very long time. So exciting times. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about the multipolar world, the multipolar framework, what's happening, cryptocurrency, going down. That's okay. Just buy. Understand it's just a buying opportunity. I warned you all about silver. I'm sorry it was only 24 hours in advance, but it skyrocketed in one day and came down the next. But I warned you. And I got a lot of hate mail for that, by the way. If you go back 2 weeks, when silver shot up to $112, $115, I sat here on the show and I said, listen, I'm going to tell you, take profits now. And I got a bunch of hate mail for that. What goes up must come down. To substantiate a price that high, there has to be an overwhelming demand and a diminishing supply. And the diminishing supply wasn't because there's not silver being mined. The diminishing supply came about because of China's export restrictions, which they've eased off of. And then the plummeting of the price came about because of something else that we talked about, the Japanese carry trade. And this is one of the main reasons why Bitcoin is pummeling. Why? It's the illusion of the economic system that we actually have. To give you guys an example of what Wall Street is and how I can kind of guess what's going to happen next and be pretty damn accurate is because Wall Street is a casino. And the casino, the house, they always win. Now, who is the house? The house is the manipulators at the top that are controlling the markets, the large financial institutions. It's the governments of the world. Okay? So when we start to look at what's occurring within the financial markets, we simply have to look at the large financial institutions and the moves that they're making. But to understand that, we have to understand how do they buy massive amounts of assets, tech stocks, Bitcoin, silver, gold, all these things. Well, they do it not with real legitimate money. They're not taking assets and selling them and getting cash and taking that cash and going out there. No. That'd just be too easy. Instead, what they do is they collateralize their assets, and then they take margin in a derivatives market, and they use that margin to buy into the tech stocks, to buy into Bitcoin, which means that meteoric rise in price of everything is not real. It's credit that is increasing the value of the market. Even the current market today, the Dow, the NASDAQ, everything is all built upon the same idea and concept. And one of the primary methods that they use for this is something known as the yen carry trade. Japanese bond rates are almost near zero. This happened after World War II. It was a negotiation between the U.S. and Japan that the U.S. would be their military, but Japan had to pay for it. And Japan, they basically stated that all governments or all local governments, all businesses, and all retirement funds had to hold Japanese bonds, which pay nothing, basically near zero. This raised the money, I think it was like $300 million a year to buy U.S. debt bonds. And they are the largest nation state holder of U.S. debt. So what happens? The moment the Japanese bond yield goes up, or so actually the yen carry trade, this makes the yen a very stabilized currency, which means that you can take billions of dollars of yen and go out there and collateralize it for loans, and you're not going to default on it because the yen is skyrocketing up and down because the interest rate, the yield, is typically stabilized. But what happens when the bond yield skyrockets? Well, now you have liquidation that occurs, and you have to cash out your assets and give that credit back to get your collateral out so you don't lose it. Well, that's what's been happening since November. And they've been selling off all of their basically marginalized leveraged trades. That's Bitcoin, that's tech stocks, that's gold and silver. So when we start to look at the world, the markets aren't really that great. The markets are actually like a teeter-totter. And at one moment, the house is up. The next moment, the house is down. If the house is down, trust me, the house is going to go back up. These people don't lose money. They manipulate the market to ensure that they make money. And when you have BlackRock as the custodian of ISLV, which is paper silver market, which is overloaded, I think like 50-1 of actual real silver in the industrial side, but then BlackRock is co-share owner of the majority of the manufacturing and processing companies that utilize industrial silver, you got to understand that all they're going to do is just pump more paper silver into the market and then bring the price back down. It becomes predictable. Anyways, that is your 5-minute rant on the economic system. Man, so crazy times. I think we are living in very, very interesting times. And right now we have massive panic in DC. That's right. Panic in DC. And why do I say that? Well, today, members of Congress were allowed to look at the unredacted versions of the Epstein files. Tom Massey, Representative Tom Massey, which not a lot of Republicans or Trump like. I don't mind Tom Massey. I have no problem with Tom Massey. Tom Massey's coming out there, and he's kind of giving hints to who's on this list. Better be paying attention. This is what I said Tom Massey was there for. That Trump is enemies with Tom Massey. No. It's kayfabe. It's fake. Tom Massey is this man that's going to uncover and unmask everybody who's being redacted in the Epstein files because Trump can't do it himself. You got to have that optics and that perception ability. So I'm going to play this video. I'm going to bring this video up. We got some news to cover. I got to bring Tammy in. She's going to come in for just a few minutes. We're going to have a quick chat. And then we're going to jump right back into this. So we're going to do economics, health, and then we're going to get into the nitty gritty, the news, panic in DC. We're going to get into arrest, accountability, FISA gate, guardians of the pedophiles, panic in DC. We're going to get into all that. We're going to get into what's unraveling with the Epstein files, what it's showing, what it's validating, what it's proving, and where it leads to. And I think that is the most interesting part about this, is where does it lead to? And this is the very, very dark secret of Pandora's box that is being opened up, that the lid cannot be put back on. So let's bring in Tammy Cuthbert Garcia.
What's happening?
Up, Tam? How we doing?
Good. Hey, I just heard you talking about Thomas Massey, and I thought the same thing. Like, I saw him on a clip with Tucker, and him and Tucker kind of talking about Trump. And he's like, yeah, and then he said this, speaking of Trump, right? Like, oh, he said this. And then Tucker starts laughing. And then Tom starts laughing. Thomas Massey starts laughing. And I'm like, wait a minute here. Like, I'm not detecting any real anger here. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
So a lot of people say, like, you know, that, oh, no, Trump really is mad at these people. But then, you know, you look at, like, Steve Bannon during the first Trump administration, right? Trump fires him, kicks him out. They don't talk. Oh, Bannon's bad. Yeah. But then he's talking with Bannon. You have Tucker Carlson. Remember, if you go back to last year, Tucker Carlson, oh, he's a kook.
He's a kook.
He's a kook, all this stuff. And then what last week, him and Tucker were sitting there.
Like, yeah, I know. It's all strategy. It's all strategy. Craziness, I tell you, it's craziness. I mean, the world is discovering that elites are pedophile baby eaters, and nobody seems to be doing anything. You know? I mean, the public is like, oh, okay. You know, like...
Well, I actually got a video about that I was going to play after you came on, but I'll play that right now because I think that's really important context of what you're saying. So give me one. Let me get this set up because this is actually pretty interesting. It's a video. It's a few minutes long, but it's well worth the watch. Let's watch this.
Yeah.
Because exactly what you just said is what this guy's saying.
Yeah, we're all at the end of our rope.
In the last 6 years, we've had a global pandemic. Turned out to be bullshit. Nobody cares. Nobody gets in trouble. Nobody gives a shit. We find out that aliens are real. Nothing changes. Nobody gives a shit. Nothing happens. A global pedophile ring. Nothing happens. Nobody gets in trouble. Nobody gives a shit. We found out all the politicians are basically inside trading. That's how they make $140,000 a year. And then by the end of their fucking term, or just in a couple of years, they're worth like $240 million. Nobody gets in trouble. Nobody gives a shit. And nothing changes. Found out the president actually was fake. Nothing happens. Nobody gets in trouble. Nobody gives a shit. 9/11 was staged. Nothing happens. Nobody gives a shit. Nothing changes. Like, this is like from the year 2020 to 2026, like every other day is like a conspiracy theory being proven right. But nothing changes. Nobody gets in trouble. Nobody gives a shit. The whole Somalian thing. All these politicians that are like stealing billions of dollars, they don't get in trouble. Nothing happens. Nobody gives a shit. I mean, yeah, of course we all give a shit online and we're like, I fucking told you. Blah. But it's like, literally, like, nothing happens. Nobody gets in trouble. No one gives a shit. Charlie Kirk, that guy totally did not just kill him. Like, that one fucking tranny dude did not kill him. Nothing happens. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gets in trouble. Like, it's like, we started a country because Britain was charging us 3% tax. Now we pay 36% tax. Nobody gets in trouble. Nothing changes. Nobody gives a shit. Like, it's like, I think that's the most infuriating thing about finding out all these conspiracy theories that we've had. Oh, Pizzagate. Pizzagate's fucking real. Nobody gets in trouble. Nothing changes. Nobody gives a shit. It's like, it is so mind-boggling how they've like changed and manipulated the way our society and social norms are by just like releasing an overload of information that we're just like, I told you. I told you. It's like, I just don't understand. We should be taking these people into the fucking streets and like executing them. Like, I mean, seriously. Like, that's like what we should be doing. That's what our fucking great-grandfathers and great-grandmothers would be doing. I just don't understand how we find out these life-altering conspiracy theories that turn out to be true, and nothing happens. Nobody gets in trouble. and no one gives a shit. It's like, it's fucking insane. It's fucking insane.
I talked about this a little bit today on my show in regards to the pineal gland, how we are inundated with chaos all the time. Chaos, this, that, like so much input. And it's like hijacks our ability to focus. It's so much stuff. And it's on purpose.
Well, you know, it's an actual psychological technique. It's called the Alice in Wonderland technique. And it was refined in the late 1940s by the OSS into the CIA in the prelude to MK Ultra. A guy by the name of L. Ron Hubbard,
oh yeah,
Church of Scientology, actually picked it up and wrote the Alice in Wonderland theory. And he utilized this on all of his early practitioners. And what the idea behind it is that you overwhelm people with confusion, fear, and contradiction continuously. And then what you do is once you get them to the point where they're completely overloaded, you give them some relevance of truth that you've created to latch onto. And then the mind automatically, subconsciously latches onto that level of truth, no matter what it is. And basically all it is the only point in a land of confusion that is not contradictory, that is not confusing, and is not fearful. And the mind latches onto that and says, this must be the truth because this is the one thing that I can make sense of. And so you get all this inundation, then, hey, aliens are real. Oh, well, it makes so much more sense now. Hey, Pizzagate was real. I kind of already knew it, but, you know, been inundated with this for 10 years. So it's a psychological warfare technique that's being utilized.
Yeah, I also think it has to do a lot with, you know, being like isolated through imaginary community online. We feel like we're a part of a community when we're on X and we're participating and we're being fed an algorithm that supports our belief system. It feels like we're a part of a community, but we don't actually have any organization in reality with community. Because back in the day, if somebody did something terrible, you know, all the men met out in the barn and they were like, okay, what are we going to
lynching?
Yes.
I mean, it was a lynching, it was a tar and feathering, or it's like what you were saying is, you know, you go get the rope and say, hey, buddy, you fucked up.
Yes. And so there was community, but it was in reality. And again, I got to go back to that whole, you know, thing that we're experiencing, which is the blurring between virtual and reality to the point where what is reality? People think, well, this is taking place in the virtual. Is it real? It's like the brain's not really sure. Is this real or is this virtual reality? And then we're, you know, pulled away from community. We don't have others, you know, around us getting together and, you know, sharing energy about, hey, we should do something about this. So it's a bizarre time to be alive. I know I say that all the time, but it truly is, dude. It is bizarre. It is a bizarre time to be alive and watch people. There was a guy, I don't know if you saw it, but there was a guy in an airport who was walking around just yelling. The Epstein files are out, and you know they're mutilators of babies, and they're this and they're that. He's just walking around the airport saying this, and people are just walking by like, oh yeah, you know.
Well, you know, so the important thing that I'm actually seeing from the Epstein files, and this is something that I actually predicted a year ago was going to happen, is that it's even-toed. It's the Republicans and the Democrats. It's both sides that are going, they're evil. They're pedophiles.
Yeah.
I mean, it is how this was kind of released and how all this came about is absolutely 100% a psyop, right? But what I want to do is I want to show people that it was meant to be this way because there is no other way. If you just started putting this stuff out there and accusing Democrats and accusing high-level profile people, the left would have been like, no.
Right.
But now when they start to see that those same people are funding their riots and funding their protests and are funding their NGOs, they're going to start to question and think about morality because there is a resemblance of morality in socialism, I think, because that's the whole primary driver. It's just a little distorted away from a lot of us. But I think that we're in a transitional point right now. I mean, you have Brian Krasenstein out there, like, redact these names. Like, we want to see who these people are. And that's good. That's exactly what we need to have.
Yeah. And we have that other guy who's working with Thomas, what's his name? Ro Khanna. Yeah. He's working with him, and he's a Democrat as well. So I think that is the way. But, I think I noticed, and I don't know if you did, but like I feel that people are starting to detach from like celebrity worship and elitist worship, right? We see that when it's like, I'm not watching your stupid Super Bowl. Like, maybe they care about the game, but they don't care about the celebrities that are attending. 500 jets flew in on the tarmac, private jets to watch the Super Bowl. And you guys are all preaching to us about climate change. Like, we're over it. We're over it. We're like, we're not interested in viewing the elite like we used to be.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed on social media today, but Bad Bunny or Bugs Bunny, whatever the hell the guy's name is, he deleted his entire Instagram.
Oh, did he really?
And it's bad. So the TPUSA, which I'm not very fond of TPUSA.
Yeah.
They have like 5 times as many views as the halftime football show or the halftime show at the football game, which is huge. It's showing you that America is like, fuck this shit. Like, I mean, come on, you're going to play the NFL halftime show and you're going to do all your songs in Spanish. I don't know if that's all he sings is Spanish songs. I don't care. But here's the thing is, who the hell, this is the most American event in the most American sporting event of the year. And in the middle of the American sporting event, you're going to have,
you're going to showcase.
Ricky Martin would have done it in English. Come on, people.
Yeah. And that's just it. It wasn't that it was every music's subjective, right? You can love the music you want to love. But the point is that football is very much American culture. So what an opportunity it would have been for him to, shower the audience and show his appreciation for American culture. And he could have easily, intertwined some Spanish songs with some English songs and then made it about America, all of us coming together. Like, there could have been it was a political move to do it all in Spanish. And I don't know, I'm tired of it.
Jay-Z's media company that did it.
Yeah, I am tired of it, though. I'm tired of the politicization of everything. Because when we come together as a country to watch a big event like that, it shouldn't be divisive like that. It could have very easily been something that united everybody, but they're choosing division. They're choosing controversy. Right. They're choosing it. And the reason why they're choosing it is because it gets views or it gets talked about. And there's a formula to this. And we have to take personal responsibility for it too. And I didn't watch anything about it. And I actually have an interesting story that I'm going to cover tomorrow about TPUSA's views. Are they really real on both sides of the aisle here? People are fabricating what the culture is around it, what the citizenry really watches and looks for. So on both sides.
Did you hear that Erica Kirk's ex-boyfriend before Charlie is now speaking and engaging at TPUSA events, and inside of his lip is tattooed pizza.
Yeah, I've heard this stuff, and
she's a former Romanian angel, which was associated with human trafficking. Yeah. You gotta wonder what the fuck is really going on in the world.
Exactly, dude. And that's why I've been saying this whole time about Candace. Let her cook. Let her cook, because you don't know where it's going. And if she's wrong, she's going to fall flat, and she should if she's wrong. But let her cook. Like, we have to support free speech, and we have to support someone who is following the trail to discover something, whether it's what we want them to discover or not. And so I find it interesting, a lot of things that she's been revealing. But I think now more than ever, people need to realize your institutions have been lying to you. I mean, they have been lying to you at every turn. And I'm excited at Naturally Inspired because we're helping people connect to real solutions for health. And we're getting exciting results. Like my health text line is getting so busy. And it's because people are reporting back, like, I totally changed my diet. I have more energy in the afternoon. I've lost weight. I don't have brain fog anymore. I don't have joint pain. When I went to my doctor, they told me I had to take this medication, that medication, and I didn't want to take the medication. And so I've changed my diet and now I don't have to. My doctor said I don't even need it now. So like that's the type of stuff we're doing. I want to encourage people in the red pill community that you do have options. You absolutely do have options and you can make a difference. And I know you're tired. I talk to you guys every day, out there, and I know you're tired and I know you've been told this is the way it is and I'm getting older and I've had this problem for a long time. I want to encourage you not to give up because every day I'm helping people. I'm helping people reclaim their life, get out of pain, lose weight, be re-inspired about life, look at their health from a holistic approach, including connecting spiritually for healing on your own and all kinds of different wonderful things. So the best thing you can do is get into the Naturally Inspired community. You can purchase our red pills that you can take every day. They're called, I call them the red pill Pac-Man inflammation eaters. They are deep polyphenols. And I think I actually sent over some pictures for you tonight because I wanted people to see. There's a new paper out. Well, I think it's about a month or so old now, but I don't think I've showed it to you and showed it to this audience. So there's a new paper out about pomegranate and the power of polyphenols. And we're seeing this now. Time is passing and we're starting to get a handle with Bobby Kennedy trying to help with medical journals and get actual medical, improvements that are more natural published. And we're seeing stuff like this: pomegranate juice consumption for 3 years by patients with carotid artery stenosis reduces common carotid thickness, blood pressure, and LDL oxidation. This is just food, people. This is just food in dense polyphenol form. And that's one of I call it my hero product. I love to start people on it because it's polyphenols, dense. And this product has the pomegranate in it. It has resveratrol in it, which I'm sure everybody's kind of heard the word resveratrol. They link it to France and red wine and all that stuff. Also green tea and grape muscadine extract go into this polyphenol product. And it just, in a Petri dish, this stuff actually takes away inflammation in cells in a Petri dish. That's how effective it is.
So I'm just curious about this because I love studies and I love being the devil's advocate on it.
Yeah.
This looks like an epidemiological study. So this is kind of just a broad generalized study that, hey, why don't you drink this? And then every 3 months you come in, we're going to take your blood. But the one thing that I'm wondering here is they might have been consuming pomegranate juice every day for 3 years. But what did they replace? What in their diet did they replace the pomegranate juice with? Was it sugary sodas, highly carbonated sugary beverages, Monster Energy, right? Like that's the way I think when I look at epidemiological studies, but I don't disregard it because pomegranates are a superfood and highly nutrient dense and have the polyphenols that go in there and absolutely do help. So
yeah. Well, that's a variable we'd have to run down with all of the whole clinical trial. But I see improvements in my community every day with this stuff. People's energy, it helps with brain fog, it helps with inflammation, pain, all kinds of things. And I know it works. I've been living this way for decades now. And I don't struggle with energy. I walk my talk. And so I can speak to it personally as well, but also in my community. So I want to invite everybody to try them. You can go to redpillhealth.info, make a purchase. Even better though, listen, even better than taking polyphenols, you get to work with me.
There you go.
You get my personal attention and coaching on my health text line on demand. That's pretty much what I do all day these days is I do assessments and then I coach via my text line. So, you know, chatting with multiple people today that are just like, what about this? What about that? You know, how many grams of protein should I eat? Or my blood glucose is high. What do you think I should do about it? Or, you know, I've been getting more pain here and I want to move over here. I'd like to try that. Those are the types of questions I get on my health text line. And also just encouragement. You know, when you have been stuck in the allopathic model for a long time and they teach you that you've got this diagnosis and this is part of your life and you're never getting rid of it. You need somebody to encourage and be like, listen, you know what? I know 10 people that have walked this back. I know more people that have done this or done that. You need the daily encouragement. You need community. Like we were just talking about, that's the reason why, you know, more things aren't happening and organizing because we're so accepting of just kind of being part of a community online rather than being in person and connecting one-on-one. So that's what you get when you're in the naturally inspired community. And so join us. And right now you can pick up these red pills and get your inflammation under control. And then as soon as you purchase, I usually text you within 24 hours to reach out, schedule an appointment with me so we can really dial in your optimum health journey. So visit redpillhealth.info today, Red Pillars. I'm looking forward to chatting with you. I love spending time with you. It's a fascinating group of people here. Do you understand that?
They're awesome. Yeah,
Josh,
they're absolutely amazing.
Some of the stories I get from your audience is just absolutely fascinating with what they've done in their life, you know, and their willingness to share and and they love you, Josh. They love you so much. They're always like, I love Josh and I've been with him since the beginning. And it's just a wonderful community you've built here. So I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you. Aww. And listen, you do not have to suffer in silence, everybody. I guarantee you, I can give you a nugget of something that will, you know, light a spark in you and we'll follow it together on your optimum health journey. You don't have to do it alone.
Well, I'm excited for that. So guys, go out there, text 720-303-8868 to get a hold of Tammy out there or visit redpillhealth.info, redpillhealth.info. And I did throw that link in both of the chats. I know there's a few people saying, I was looking for the link.
Oh, my health text line's blowing up.
Well, there you go. So that works. Tammy will be back with us Thursday night, guys. I appreciate you coming on with me for right now, Tammy. And we will see you Thursday, guys. Go out and visit redpillhealth.info and we'll see Tammy later this week. Take care, Tammy.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Josh. Enjoy, everybody, the rest of the show.
All right, guys, we're going to get into the news and what's happening in the world in just 1 second. But first, wait, there's more. I got to read this real quick for all my Rebel subscribers out there. And, okay, that's not wanting to access denied. Okay. I got to refresh my screen. Hold on a second here. It didn't like me. Oh, look at that. I'm not even in. Okay, now let's try this. All right. They can cancel your accounts, freeze your cards, decide what you're allowed to buy, say, and support. Big banks and financial institutions have total control and they use it. That's why financial independence matters now more than ever. Introducing Rumble Wallet, a wallet built for real freedom. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money, not a bank, not a government, not a tech company. A digital asset like Tether, Tether Gold, and Bitcoin in one secure place. No permission, no middlemen, no cancel button. And when you want to support the creators who you actually believe in, you can use the Rumble Wallet app to directly tip content creators securely, instantly, and without interference. This isn't a credit line they can shut off. It's your wallet permanently. Yours to protect your future, yours to protect your family. When the system fails, when institutions turn on their own people, financial sovereignty is the difference between security and vulnerability. Rumble Wallet isn't about politics. It's about freedom, ownership, and protecting what's yours. So take control today. Download the Rumble Wallet now and step away from the big banks for good, true ownership, true protection, true financial freedom. And you can go over to wallet.rumble.com to find out that information. If you're on Rumble, firstly, hit that little thumbs up button, but go over there where it says Repill Project. You'll see tip. Click on that and you get my QR code if you guys want to send us Rumble rants through cryptocurrency on the Rumble wallet. All right. And all the people out there, I love you, Josh. I love you, Josh. I love you guys too. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much, man. You guys are a freaking amazing audience. So, what do we get today? A Trump-appointed federal judge has ordered FBI documents on Fulton County unsealed on Tuesday. We saw some of these coming out today. Our buddy CanCon over on Badlands. This is probably one of the subject matter experts on what's happening in Georgia. And so he was on with Stinchfield. So let's just listen in on what CanCon was saying about all of this. And then we can get some comments on it.
Absolutely. So great stuff you uncovered. What's your takeaway, Brian, from all of this?
Well, we never got an investigation into the 2020 election, at least not the way that they told us that we had gotten one. I know you had covered earlier the then director of the GBI that says we're not going to investigate because the governor doesn't want us to investigate. And that is kind of the status quo in Georgia, right? The 17,700 has been part of a complaint that's been before the state election board for almost 3 years now, over 3 years now, going back to 2022. Garland Favorito has had a case before, remanded back down to the lower courts from the Supreme Court, telling him that he is standing for a ballot inspection. The complaint that I talked about earlier had 10 tabulators that do not exist. There's no chain of, there's no record of them existing in Fulton County. No serial numbers, no open records requests. That accounted for 20,000 votes alone in Fulton County. The 17,000 that Senator Perdue is talking about there is a discrepancy between the count, and this is all through open records requests that a lot of folks have done in Georgia. Kevin Moncla, David Cross, Garland Favorito, Bob Covert, Phil Davis. The 17,000, they gave him a number and said, hey, we've got 511,000. This was on the deadline for certification. And Raffensperger wrote them back and said, no, you got to make it happen. We need 527 is what we're supposed to have. And magically, 527,000 ballots popped in.
It's really unbelievable. And this exchange that you released on Badlands and Gateway Pundit, two great outlets. If you could, guys behind the glass, put up VO18. Because this is the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, the head of it. He's asked about this. And according to David Perdue, Reynolds, the head of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, says, I'm a team player. If the governor doesn't want to investigate, we're not going to investigate. And that, of course, is Governor Kemp, who then went on to appoint that head of GBI to a cushy judge position later on. Brian, how hard was it for you to get this information, this grand jury testimony?
I mean, it's 103 pages, that one alone. And there's going to be much more of this coming out because Judge Scott McAfee, who was the judge that presided over the Trump RICO case, he unsealed these. He lifted the protective order on them. So there's going to be a lot more coming out. But Grant, the real problem with this is, so you mentioned that then GBI director Vic Reynolds got appointed, to a Superior Court judge. He's not the only one. There's two other individuals in here, including the Judge Scott McAfee that unsealed them, that also was appointed under unusual circumstances. There's a gentleman named Bob Covert that figured out through open records request that an audit that Brad Raffensperger promised was done in November of 2020. He laid it out. He put out a report and everything. Well, Bob Covert reached out to all of the counties that allegedly had their machines audited. None of them had any records of them doing an audit. And so Covert took this to the governor. The governor took it to and said, go to the inspector general. Well, the inspector general at that time was Scott McAfee. And when Covert presented him with that evidence, he ghosted him. And then shortly after, McAfee was appointed to a judge, and he took it to a district attorney. She was appointed to a Superior Court judge as well.
I would hope that this is all part of the investigation. FBI went in and raided that warehouse down in Fulton County. I hope there'll be some, I call it retribution, and I have no apologies for calling it that. That's what.
All right. CanCon. See, there was a criminal conspiracy that occurred in 2020. Governor Brian Kemp He did everything in his power to ensure that nobody could audit those elections and that election was stolen. You got to remember, his daughter's boyfriend was killed on the highway the day after the election, or 2 days after the election. That was a threatening message directly to Brian Kemp. The question is what type of internal communication did Brian Kemp have of who was telling him to ensure that this happened? And I think that this will actually lead to it, because what we're about to see is the 2020 election fraud get completely unraveled in Georgia. This is the beginning of it. You got to remember, you had the Fort Pierce grand jury that impaneled on January 12th. That's happening at the same time. I mean, this is the 2016 ICA Intelligence Community Assessment on election integrity back then, Russiagate, going into the Mar-a-Lago raid, which goes into the 2020 election. Now you have Georgia getting their offices raided. DNI Tulsi Gabbard is directly involved in the investigation and then his oversight of all election integrity. We are about to see absolute fireworks for this. Now, I know people are like, where's accountability? We need accountability. Guys, listen. You don't go in and you don't start picking off players at the bottom. You go in and you take down everybody all at once. And what you're seeing right now with the 2020 election fraud, with 2016 FISA gate, with Jeffrey Epstein, is exactly what Q told us. I mean, do we remember? Guardians of the Pedophiles, FISA gate, and Panic in DC, right? All three movies. Well, guess what? We are in all three movies right now. Actually, for some reason, it doesn't come up. Let me just pull up the image. All three movies right here. Guardians of the Pedophiles, Jeffrey Epstein, Panic in DC, those in Epstein's list, intertwined, and then those involved in FISA-gate, all the levels of corruption that are happening, billions upon trillions of dollars of embezzlement, Panic in DC, and then FISA-gate. It's all happening right now. Now people are like, well, where are the arrests? I get it. We need to be verbal. We need to demand accountability. But I do believe that it's coming. I do believe that there right now is a grand conspiracy RICO case going on that intertwines all of these. Now, if there's not, there will be a revolution. I assure you, if there's not, there will be a revolution. Trust me. We're not putting up with this shit very much longer. I mean, look, goodness sake, Pizzagate is real. They're eating babies and emailing each other about it. Okay? Charlotte Moore, $100 Rumble rant. Can't stay, just popping in to say, show some support. Stay loud. Thank you so much, Charlotte. Appreciate that. That's amazing. Thank you for that Rumble rant. So we have election fraud disclosure coming out. We have the grand jury in Fort Pierce. We still have the grand jury in the Eastern District of Virginia. We have two other grand juries that are impaneled but haven't been announced. One in Pennsylvania, one in New York. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. I'm going to play a clip for you real quick. And this is Jonathan Gilman, okay? And he's former FBI agent who's actually was one of the lead FBI agents leading to the FBI investigation. This is with Follow the Pen, Catherine. Listen what says here.
When the public reads these files, they feel kind of sick. I think that's a natural response. And then they ask, how come nothing was done about it? Or can something be done about it now? How would you respond as a seasoned federal investigator?
Well, their reaction is appropriate. It's sickening, the things that have occurred. And the other question is, why hasn't anything been done? Going after him the way it would be for anybody else could have opened a Pandora's box and a national security and global issue that we've really never seen politically and or really any time in history. I would just tell people that you have to look at the totality of this. You may want this released, you may want something to occur, But there's obviously something more here than just a criminal who was supplying women and drugs to the powerful and the elite.
He's right. There's way more there. Let me bring up this post because this post is interesting. So today, Ghislaine Maxwell was supposed to testify. She got in front of the camera, and what did she say? She said, "Oh, well, you know what? I plead the fifth. You know, my habeas corpus request has been sent forth." And what's that all about? Well, that is about primarily she wants basically blanket immunity. Now, I got a problem with this. This last week, they were showing pictures of Ghislaine Maxwell in her cell. This was just a few days ago. These are the pictures of her in her cell with long hair. This is her today. There's a problem here. Those don't appear to be the same woman. I don't know. But Ghislaine Maxwell, I think, is going to try to get immunity to basically answer questions. And I think she's going to get it. I'm just saying, I think she might actually get it. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell played a very central role in creating, you ready for it? The Clinton Global Initiative. That's right. Look at this. Ghislaine Maxwell played a very critical role in creating the Clinton Global Initiative. Newly released documents show Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't just orbiting the Clinton world. She helped build one of Bill Clinton's signature post-presidency projects. Ha! What? Maxwell wired $1 million in 2004 to pay for the first Clinton Global Initiative conference, which took part in budget discussions, and told the Justice Department last year she had a very central role in setting it up. She said, "President Clinton was my friend, not Epstein's friend," and revealed she last saw Clinton at dinner in LA sometime between 2016 and 2018, years after allegations against her had surfaced publicly. The emails also show Maxwell and Doug Bann, Clinton's top aide at the time, exchanging flirtatious messages where she complained of boobitis and needed for a boob fix. Don't really care too much about that. Now, who was the person that introduced Jeffrey Epstein to the Clintons? That was LDR, Lynn Forrester de Rothschild. From Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, Epstein 94 begins with Ghislaine Maxwell, introduces Ghislaine Maxwell into the Clintons. They curate, they help to grow the Global Clinton Initiative. Now, what was the Global Clinton Initiative doing? The Clinton Global Initiative doing? That's the real question. Now, you got to remember, the 26th and the 27th of this month, Bill and Hillary are supposed to testify. Now, I don't believe they're going to answer any questions, but I do know some of the questions that are going to be asked to Bill and Hillary Clinton, because this is exactly what I said Congress is going to be looking at. The connections to the Clintons and Epstein is not about how many times have you been to the island? How many underage girls have you had? They're going to ask those questions. It's going to be about, when did you meet Epstein? Who introduced you to Jeffrey Epstein? Who was the people involved in this introduction? Did Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein have a special take in the Global Clinton Initiative? Why do I say it like that? Because we know that there is a private grand jury impaneled in New York City, which I've said from the get-go is investigating the Clinton Global Initiative. Now, Clinton Foundation and Clinton Global Initiative. Now, go back a month and a half ago, Chuck Grassley in the Senate, he called up Pam Bondi, he called up Kash Patel, and he said, "I'm requesting all documentation pertaining to the Wiener Laptops insurance file on Hillary Clinton from Huma Abedin." Do you remember this? Now, Comer is coming out there and saying, "We want Bill and Hillary to come in and testify." It's not about the Epstein. It's not about, "Hey, did you guys know Jeffrey? How was your connection?" No, it's about the money. It's about the organizations and the primary parts of what those organizations were actually doing. Hillary, what were you guys doing in Haiti? Why do people say you took an entire village? In other words, the FBI just yesterday, in the new release documentation, revealed that they found out that Jeffrey Epstein was not running a global human trafficking sex ring. Well, guess what? He wasn't. He was simply a procurer, a facilitator. He's the fucking money man, people. That's what he always has been. Yeah, he definitely tastes from the menu. He hooks his friends up. Jean-Luc Brunel was the one who was running the human trafficking ring. Other people like Jean-Luc Brunel are the ones that run those rings. They utilize modeling agency. Rachel Chandler, Jean-Luc Brunel. These are the human trafficking rings. They are the ones that are taking in immigrant kids, and they're going out to Romania, third world countries, or bringing kids in, give them opportunity, and then they put them in the child trafficking and human sex trafficking rings. They put them in prostitution rings, etc. They make massive amounts of money off of them, and then they off them when they're done. Epstein wasn't doing anything to that level or context, but I do believe he was one of the primary procurers. So think about him as a sales agent for these other people that could get it. And he wasn't going out there. He was actually going out there and procuring children primarily for DNA and genetic information. He was more interested in children, procuring children for scientific exploration. Now, that's the Pandora's box I don't think is actually going to come out. But you're going to see Senate and Congress probe Hillary and Bill Clinton specifically about the Clinton Global Initiative, about Ghislaine Maxwell connections, about what was going on in the context of money flows. Did Jeffrey Epstein ever give you money? Did you ever give Jeffrey Epstein money? Who were your other, co-sponsors that worked and did things with you? It's going to be this type of context. At least that's my thoughts. But I think that Bill and Hillary are going to be like, well, I got information on Donald Trump. They're going to be like, we don't care. We don't want to hear it because they know it's fake. So Alan Dershowitz comes out to Jeffrey Epstein's rescue today and says Epstein was not a pedophile. Dershowitz, there's emails out there talking about like, dude, I saw your torture video. It was brilliant. I posted a video. I don't know who it is. Some dude getting his balls smashed by a baseball bat by some girl. Okay, these people are sick. You got people talking about jerky, pizza, all different pedophilic and human cannibalistic words that are being utilized in these emails. These people were fucking Satanists, or our understanding of what Satanists would be. The DOJ quietly posted an 86-page Epstein conspirator file. Then they deleted it. Yeah, that's right. So it names the same inner circle that's been protected for over a decade. Guthrie's testimony is in there. So are names like Maxwell, Brunel, Marshanikova, Kellen, Ross, and Groff. Turns out the feds did investigate the network. They just didn't do anything about it. And this is really, really interesting and telling because it would have been 2019 into 2020. The Trump administration is leaving, and then 2021 Biden administration comes in. So it would have been the Biden FBI that knew about it, investigated it, did nothing. Trump administration comes in and they pull the records after the release. Documents claim the FBI removed a hard drive from the federal facility's camera system, wiping footage the night Jeffrey Epstein died, quote unquote. Not only that, this is the smoking gun. Alpha and I have been telling you from the beginning, Epstein's not dead. This is in the Epstein files. United States Attorney's Office. I love this. United States Attorney's Office right here, guys. Look at this. It doesn't get any more clear than this. Statement on the Manhattan U.S. Attorney on the death of defendant Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, too bad it's dated Friday, August 9th, 2019, and Epstein died on the 11th. Oh, that's in the Epstein files. So you have two things. The FBI removed the hard drive that had the video evidence of Epstein's cell before and after his death. Gone. Trash. Then you have this document from the United States Attorney's Office from the Southern District of New York stating on a day before Epstein actually killed himself that he was dead. Something's wrong here. Witsec. So I don't know if Ghislaine knows this. See, Ghislaine's, so if I was Epstein and I'm in this play and I'm looking at Ghislaine, who went to jail after Epstein passed away, and I don't know if she went in there for protection or for what, but Ghislaine was the primary intelligence cohort. She was the MI6 agent that was kind of the center of the operations in in the arena that Epstein worked with. They had one singular passion that they drove together with, and this was to try to find hidden technology, underground UFO bases in Atlantis. I shit you not with that. I posted it earlier. Epstein and UFOs. Wait till you hear this one. Mitchell, dude, come on, Josh. The House and Senate investigation is like a fox guard in a chicken coop. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. It has no legal oversight except for its public record. And that public record is very, very important because that testimony can be utilized as perjury charges later if they lie, especially when they're holding all the cards. So keep that in mind. So if Epstein's still alive, he's most likely pointing the finger to Ghislaine. Ghislaine is most likely probably pointing the finger at Jeffrey. I don't know, but I think that we could potentially see a grand jury forming in the Epstein because it's going to be demanded by the people. Like I was saying, Tom Massey earlier, he's coming out there and he's trying to reveal through hints who's on these lists. We've already gotten 2 of them that we know. I'll pull those up in a minute. But the other thing I wanted you to see, listen to this. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the youngest brother of King Charles, shared official British trade documents with Jeffrey Epstein in 2010, leaking information to the late sex offender from his role as a government envoy. And the royal family is now taking care of this. So this is a second royal family member. And guess who else I believe is implicated in this? King Charles. I think that you're going to see that name probably come out in a lot of the Epstein stuff. You have Prince Andrew. You have Prince Andrew, and then you have King Charles. They're going to be involved in all of this. And then we're getting massive resignations. Washington Post CEO leaving effective immediately. We got foreign members of government that are resigning. Carl Starmer's chief of staff resigning. Why? All over the Epstein files. Follow resignations. So Epstein files keep getting weirder. On top of pizza and cheese, jerky beef shows up in spots that sound like code for human meat. Yeah. Talking about jerky beef at dentist offices. Remember I told you about the dentist office chairs and what they're actually for? They're for the surgeries that lock people down and take their face off to harvest the adrenochrome. I shit you not. This is some real sick shit. This was an interesting conversation between Jeffrey Epstein and someone by the name of Shelley. I will just give you the lowdown on it. It says, "Are you okay? How was your tummy?" Epstein replies, "Only okay, not well today." And they say, "Sorry to hear that. Did you catch something bad? Is that what it is?" And Epstein replies, "Thank you for your concern. Not food, people." And then he replies back with this image, pigs and a tiger. And he says, "Predator on the outside, gentle inside, the opposite of what I have to deal with." Was Epstein a cannibal? I don't know. I think that it's potentially possible. Now, as much as you might not like Ro Khanna or Tom Massey, listen to what they have to say.
But what I saw that bothered me were the names of at least 6 men that have been redacted that are likely incriminated by their inclusion in these files. So that's the first thing that I saw. It took some digging to find them. Then I'll let you talk about what you saw.
Well, and we discussed that. I mean, there are 6 men, some of them with their photographs that have been redacted, and there's no explanation why those people were redacted. And Thomas discovered it through his MIT logic with some of the searches. But, you know, that's really concerning.
There are 6 men. We went in there for 2 hours. There's millions of files, right? And in a couple of hours, we found 6 men whose names have been redacted who are implicated in the way that the files are presented.
You know, what's your message to Pam Bondi after what you saw today?
Need to do a little more work. And we'll see her at the Judiciary Committee here in a couple days.
At the very least, these 6 men, maybe she can make public. I mean, we're happy to provide the information to them, and they should do that.
Are these men U.S. citizens? What fields do they work in? Is it finance? Is it political?
At least one is a U.S. citizen. At least one is a foreigner. And the other 3 or 4 have names. I'm not sure if they're foreign or U.S.
And which field do they work in? Is it finance, banking, political?
One is pretty high up in the foreign government.
And some are, they're, one of the others is a pretty prominent individual. But I think that the point is that these 6.
One's pretty high up in a foreign government. I wonder who they're talking about. Let me see here. One of them, Tom Massey put out. I'll pull this one up. He says, he puts this one out there. And he says, this is a well-known retired CEO. DOJ should unredact this. Why did they redact this? And it's interesting because you have co-conspirator right here. Citizenship location, Ohio. That's the giveaway. This is Epstein's former girlfriend, okay? Belarus. And then co-conspirator right here. Now, who is this person right there that they're talking about? Who is that? That is Lex Wexner. Why? Former CEO and from Ohio. Ohio's corporate elite. So he puts out a list right here and names them all right here, saying that, hey, we need to get all of this redacted immediately. Now, who are they talking about? And I want to go here. We can do kind of, I didn't pull up the one post I was looking for. I need to go to Mario. Oh, I'm shit. I'm in the wrong one. Boom, boom, boom. See how much I got this? It's zoomed in 300%. Oh, there's the one I'm actually looking for. Look at this. Todd Blanche said, oh, this is great. So Tom Massey right here, guys. This is going to get really interesting. Tom Massey's given hints. He says a sultan seems to have sent this. DOJ should make this public. All right. From Jeffrey Epstein, where are you? Are you okay? I love the torture video. He replies, I'm in China. Will be there the second week of May. Sent from BlackBerry. Todd Blanche responded, you looked at the document. You know it's an email address that was redacted. The law requires redactions for personally identifiable information, including if in an email address. And you know that the Sultan's name is available unredacted in the files. Be honest and stop grandstanding. So this is the Sultan of, I believe, Oman, El Samini. I believe that's who they're talking about here. And let me go in here. I can actually find this for you. Actually, so what do they say here? We haven't done like live breaking up. There we go. Mario's got a lot of good stuff. He's got a team that does this. Yep. So right there, Lex Wexner, Massey names Les Wexner as a co-conspirator in the Epstein files. Exactly what I was just saying. And then if you go down here, not caring about him too much, Bannon. There's one post in here. Remember when they were saying a very high up person? And Mario has been on top of this with a team that is actually going out there and getting all of this kind of put together, which is pretty crazy because there's a lot of stuff, millions upon millions of documents. So where is it? Well, how about this? I'll just do this. I can tell you exactly who it is in 3 shakes of a lamb's tail. Nope, it's salami. Yep. Who is it? I can't find the fucking name. If someone knows the name, I believe it's Saudi Arabian or UAE, one of the two. But it's a very high up there person in the government that is named in the Epstein files. And there's a track record of Epstein and him talking and communicating back and forth. It's like those foreign names are the hardest ones for me to remember. So interesting of what's happening right now as we're watching all of this unravel. Not seeing anything on the Virginia Guffrey's mother stuff. Deepak Chopra is an absolute shittard. Yeah. Oh, here we go. So Sultan bin Sulayem of Dubai billionaire who appears throughout the files emailing Epstein about Israeli operation in Dubai, Nigerian port deals, etc. This is who they're talking about right there. I love Pi. Thank you for that Bitcoin right there. Really appreciate everything you do, Josh. Hit that like and share, folks. Gathering. I'll appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. But yep, Sultan bin Sulayem is who we are talking about from UAE or Dubai, UAE. So crazy. You know, there's a lot of things happening right now. So we talk about panic in DC. Why is there panic in DC? Because you got people like Tom Massey, they're going a lot watching. They just found 6 names that are implicated in crimes that they're naming. One of them is American, Lex Wexner. The others are foreigners. And he says, well, 4 of them he didn't even mention. Remember when Donald Trump said a week ago that the Democrats are implicated and their donors in legal parts? Remember, we're talking about the legality that criminal investigations, you can't unredact the names of the people that are involved in criminal investigations. They said that from the documents that have been released, there's no criminal investigations. Doesn't mean that they don't have documents that they're keeping that are current investigations. This is not the end of the Epstein files, guys. I'm telling you that this is going to be a rabbit hole that is going to interconnect 2016, FISA-gate, COVID-19, 2020 election fraud. It's all going to come together and circle around Epstein. And this is how the layers, FISA equals start, think layers. Grand juries operating on all different fronts, all coming together in a grand RICO case, and then boom. It's coming, people. All right. Few different things. Man, we definitely went over time tonight. Hugely over time. That's okay. I don't mind going over time a little bit. Let me see here. All right. I'm going to do this real quick. And this is for Rumble. And for anybody out there actually who wants it. I still haven't tried 1775 coffee. Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. You're getting a bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus, no crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin free and mold free. Plus, you're also getting a golden spoon clip, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions, and a black 1775 tumbler. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who have been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. All right. This week, DEF CON tomorrow. There was no Q after hours last night. Super Bowl, all of that stuff going on. There was a few different things that happened. So thanks. And everybody was putting in the chat. Salam bin salami. Thanks, guys. But so no Q after hours last night, but tomorrow night we got DEF CON. So DEF CON Thursday. I hope you guys like episode 000 of Overwatching the Guardian. That'll be a new episode this Thursday. So no more wrestling. By the way, wrestling's over. So shows should be coming on time from here on out. And what we're going to try to do is I want to kind of get a poll. So what I want you to do is not in the chat, but in the comments on Rumble or YouTube or wherever you guys are commenting. Tell me which day, my premium subscribers out there, which day you prefer for the live Q&A. Friday night? Thursday, it's just not going to happen because of the show. There's only about 45 minutes in between. I don't want to cut people short. Wednesday night, Friday, or Sunday night. Okay? One of those nights. Let me know which night works best for you. Put those in the comments below so I can get that going and rolling. Other than that, I got some, there'll be some more news. I got actually more stuff to cover, but I'm going to cover it tomorrow. And just to save some content for tomorrow, I think we're going to have a very slow content day, but everything tomorrow will be about probably Georgia and election fraud. Going to try to maybe get a guest to come in and talk about all of that. But guys, I'll be back with you tomorrow night. So much appreciated. Love you. I hope you guys all have a great night. Take care. Don't forget to go on over to redpills.tv, REDPILLS, redpills.tv. That is our website. Check that out over there and go visit us. We're all linked up, so you can check that out, redpills.tv. A lot of our links are not working, so please go to redpills.tv, redpills.tv. That's the place to go for everything. And we're all linked up over there, and all those links work. We're doing domain migration, so all of our links like /this/that probably not working, so just go to that one by default. All right, guys, much love, respect. God bless. Take care. Have a great night. I'll see you next time.
There was a time when our children stood tall, hand on their hearts, one voice for all. There was a time when honor had weight, when the flag was a symbol, not a debate. There was a time when our history was known, with pride in the rules that made us our own. There was a time, respect for the brave, for those who bled, for the lives they gave. Now the homeland burns to silent war. Truth is twisted, we can't ignore. Through the smoke, a voice still calls. We the people will not fall. There was a time, but the time isn't near. The great awakening is here. Dark to light, veil under, patriots rise. We are one, land of the free, home of the brave. No more silence, no more slaves. Answer the call, take back the fight. Children of freedom, stand for the light. There was a time when truth was clear, when the media served, not ruled by fear. There was a time when leaders stood fast, guarding the people, defending the past. Now corruption wears a crown, lies are fed to tear us down. But Q said watch, and Q said see. The silent war will set us free. From the front lines, soldiers stare, wondering if we're still there. Their blood, their hope, their sacrifice will not be sold for a last prize. There was a time, but the time isn't near. The great awakening
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on. Or we will spend our sunset years telling our children what it was once like in the United States where men were free.
There was a time is near, the great awakening is here. Dark to light, veil undone, patriots rise, we are one. Land of the free, home of the brave, no more silence, no more slaves. Answer the call, take back the fight. Children of freedom, stand for the light. There was a time, there was a time, now is the time. Do it.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. The air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation. I want you to get mad.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
The more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
These people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!